These are electro acupuncture machines, the old-fashioned type and the more up-to-date Japanese model. This is covered in knobs and buttons, which can be a bit confusing, especially when you first start. But essentially it doesn't do anything different to what this does. It's a device to stimulate acupuncture points. So when you buy one of these machines, it'll come with wires and clips. So make sure everything's turned to off, plug your wires in, and your wires will come with these Jubilee or crocodile type clips on them. And as you can see, those clips are a decent size, and because they're quite big, they're only any good to clip onto a metal handled needle. Because if you try to clip that onto the shaft of the needle, you probably wouldn't get a good enough electrical contact. And therefore there are all sorts of obvious problems with having a crocodile clip onto a needle which is in a person, in that there's quite a lot of weight on that will pull on the needle and quite easily potentially pull the needle out. So despite the fact the manufacturers keep supplying these, we tend not to use them. What we tend to have to do is to go out and buy ourselves some different ones, because with this one and this one you've got 4 clips to 1 outlet, but apart from that it's essentially the same. So let's just take 2 of those for a moment. With these much smaller clips, you can clip them right onto the shaft, right near the body. Whoops, and if you can see what you're doing, and the advantage of that is obvious, and that is that you can get down next to the skin where the clip is and the wire is supported on the body, and you don't have the same issues of pulling. And also you can use these on metal handle or plastic handle needles, because even if you've got a plastic handle needle, which is what we use most of the time, you can still clip to the shaft, although you obviously can't clip to the handle. So that's the first thing I would say to you, is that you're probably going to want to invest in a set of lightweight clips for your electroacupuncture machine. And I would also say that if you haven't got one already, you're probably going to buy one of these, because they're more readily available, they're cheaper, and they're easier to use. So all you've got on here to mess about with is 3 frequency settings, low, medium and high. 1 more frequency setting here which goes up potentially to 10, so we'll set that on 5. And then you've got the 3 outlets relating to these 3 outlets here, and when you buy the machine it'll come with wires like that, and it's got these modern plastic clips. So let's put that plastic clip there into channel 1. These clips that come with this machine, they're a lot better than they used to be. They're still a bit big for my liking, and you can buy smaller ones, so they're still not as small as I'd like them to be. You can buy completely separate wires with smaller clips on. So we can clip those. We're going to have to clip those. I don't know if they'll work. See, there we are. They don't work if you clip them on the shaft. So you've got to clip them to a metal handle. So you've got to use a metal handle needle with this type. And we've got these 2 points on the person's body as far apart as practically possible, because electricity will always travel the shortest route. So if you put 2 needles right next to each other, the only part you're going to cause any action with is just between those 2. So if you think about, for example, wanting to treat a condition like sciatica, it would be a good idea to have one of these on gallbladder 30 up on the buttock, and another one down perhaps on gallbladder 34 down on the leg, because you've got a decent distance there, a distant distance for that you're going to be covering. You're going to be putting electricity through a long distance. Whereas if you were to just put gallbladder 34 and gallbladder 37 in, you're only going to cover that shorter part of the leg. So once you're connected up and you're turned on, I would recommend we just set everything to medium to start with while we're learning, to get getting used to it. We'll put that to medium, this to 5. We know that we're on channel 1, which is this one. And so it says off, we turn on and the light comes on, and we just keep turning this up gently until the patient says, oh yes, that's it. Yeah, because they're feeling the electricity traveling through between the needles. And after a little while you may be able to turn it up a bit more as they get more tolerant to it, but we're not trying to make it hurt a lot. We're just trying to create a nice electrical tingling sensation which tells us that the electricity is traveling through there and moving the stagnant chi. Obviously you can have 2 or 3 different ones on at the same time. As a general rule, you'd have all the red ones at one end and all the black ones at the other end. Although with these modern machines, it doesn't actually make that much difference because the electricity is automatically switched back and forth anyway. These machines, it isn't. You've actually got a knob to switch the polarity. I won't spend too much time talking about this because this is most likely what you're going to be buying and what you're going to be using. So let's keep our electro acupuncture simple. That's what you're going to be seeing us do. That's how we're going to be working with this on this course.